The internet is buzzing with a rumor that could change everything we think we know about our place in the universe. According to filmmaker Dan Farah, Donald Trump is about to make the announcement of the century: we are not alone. But is this finally the moment of truth, or just another viral rumor designed to grab headlines? The United States doesn't use the term UFO anymore. They've adopted a new acronym, UAP, which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. And in 2023 alone, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence documented over 510 UAP sightings. That's just 1 year. One country. These aren't random reports from conspiracy theorists in their basements. These are official government records. Military encounters. Pilots, radar operators, intelligence officers, all describing objects that defy our current understanding of physics. So what's really going on up there? The rumor mill started churning in early December, and it all traces back to one man, Dan Farah. He's the director of a documentary called The Disclosure Era, which takes a completely different approach to the extraterrestrial question. Instead of focusing on grainy footage and anonymous sources, Farah interviewed dozens of high-ranking officials. We're talking U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, military officers with decades of experience. And they all said the same thing: the U.S. government has been hiding information about non-human intelligence for years, maybe even decades. Farah's documentary claims to expose an 80-year global cover-up, not just about alien life, but about a secret arms race between world superpowers to reverse engineer advanced technology of non-human origin. Think about that for a second. If true, it means the technology we see every day, the innovations we celebrate, might actually be based on something we didn't invent ourselves. The documentary premiered recently and is now available for rent on Prime Video. During its release week, Farah gave an extensive interview, and that's where he mentioned Trump directly. According to Farah, Trump is aware of the documentary. He believes it's only a matter of time before the president steps up to a podium and tells the world the truth. In his own words, "I think it's just a matter of time before the release of this film is followed by a sitting president stepping up to the podium to tell the world, we are not alone in the universe." Notice he didn't say Trump promised anything. He didn't claim to have insider information from the White House. This is Farah's hope, his expectation. And from a marketing perspective, brilliant timing. The interview went viral the same weekend the documentary dropped. But here's the real question: could Trump actually do it? Is there any chance he might stand in front of the world and confirm what millions of people have suspected for generations? The answer is complicated. Trump is unpredictable. Always has been. But there are reasons to think it's not completely out of the question. Let's talk about the evidence. Hundreds of UAP sightings have been documented across the United States. These aren't just random people claiming they saw lights in the sky. These are reports from military personnel, intelligence officers, and highly trained pilots. One of the most compelling voices is David Grush, a decorated U.S. Air Force veteran. He claims the government has recovered not just wreckage from alien craft, but actual alien pilots. Dead ones. In an interview, he said, "Naturally, when you recover something that has landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastic as it sounds, it's true." Congressman Tim Burchett echoed this in an interview with News Nation. He said, "We've recovered a craft at some point, and possibly beings as well." These aren't fringe voices. These are people with access to classified information. People who've spent their careers in the military and intelligence communities. So why hasn't the government confirmed anything? Out of the 510 UAP sightings in 2023, most were eventually explained. Weather balloons, drones, optical illusions. But not all of them. A significant number, 171 to be exact, were classified as having demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities requiring further analysis. Translation: they have no idea what these things are. Objects moving at speeds that shouldn't be possible, making maneuvers that would destroy any known aircraft. And they're being seen over sensitive military installations. That's not speculation. That's in the official report. This is where it gets interesting. With so many credible people coming forward, the silence from the government starts to feel intentional. It becomes a battle of narratives. On one side, you have whistleblowers, former military personnel, and politicians demanding transparency. On the other, you have official statements that downplay everything, dismissing concerns, and keeping the classified files locked away. Dan Farah is hoping Trump will tip the scales, that he'll take a stand and confirm what many believe the US government already knows. Trump has a complicated relationship with this topic. In the past, he's promised to declassify documents related to UAPs. But he's also said he doesn't really believe in extraterrestrial life. In July 2024, during a conversation with influencer Logan Paul, Trump admitted he was skeptical. But in that same interview, he said something interesting. He mentioned talking to motivated people, members of the Air Force, who told him things were happening. In his words, "I have access and I talk to people about it. I've attended briefings on this. And they'll tell you something is going on when they're talking about things moving 4 times faster than my state-of-the-art jet that flies at Mach 2. So yeah, something is really happening." Then, in October 2024, Trump appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast. He said extraterrestrial life never really interested him. But he also added, there's no reason to think Mars and all these planets don't have life. So what does Trump actually believe? It's hard to say. He's skeptical but not dismissive. He's heard the stories. He's attended the briefings. But whether or not he'll go public with any of it, that's anyone's guess. Nothing about Trump's recent statements suggests he's planning a major disclosure. But that's the thing about Trump. He's unpredictable. He thrives on making big moves that no one sees coming. Could this be one of them? Maybe. If he wanted to make headlines, cement a legacy, and shift the global conversation, confirming extraterrestrial life would certainly do it. So let's imagine for a moment that it actually happens. What if Trump steps up to that podium and says, "We are not alone"? The impact would be unimaginable. Every space agency in the world would face pressure to release their own classified files. Scientists, theologians, philosophers, everyone would be forced to rethink fundamental questions about life, existence, and humanity's place in the cosmos. The world would never be the same. But here's the problem. Despite hundreds of sightings, despite testimony from high-ranking officials, despite decades of rumors and speculation, we still don't have undeniable proof. At least, not publicly. What we have is a battle of narratives. Believers versus skeptics. Whistleblowers versus government denials. Until someone produces a piece of evidence that can't be explained away, that's where we'll remain. On one side, there are those who are absolutely convinced extraterrestrial life exists. They believe governments around the world are hiding the truth, either to avoid mass panic or to protect advanced technology they're trying to understand. On the other side, there are people who think this is all just conspiracy theory nonsense. That the sightings can be explained. That the testimonies are exaggerated or misunderstood. And until we get something concrete, both sides will keep arguing. Here's what we know for sure. The US government has acknowledged that UAPs are real. They've released footage. They've published reports. They've held congressional hearings. But they've stopped short of saying what these objects actually are. And that ambiguity is what fuels the speculation. If they don't know what they are, why not just say that? And if they do know, why keep it secret? Dan Farah believes the time for secrecy is over. His documentary lays out the case that we're living through one of the most important moments in human history. A moment where the truth about non-human intelligence is closer to being revealed than ever before. Whether or not Trump will be the one to reveal it remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the conversation is no longer on the fringes. It's mainstream now. It's in Congress. It's in the media. It's in documentaries that feature former intelligence directors. The question isn't really whether extraterrestrial life exists. Statistically, in a universe with billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, it's almost certain that life exists somewhere else. The real question is whether they've been here, whether they're visiting us, whether our governments know about it and have been keeping it secret, and if so, why? Some believe disclosure would cause mass panic. Others think people are ready for the truth. But the reality is, we might never get a clear answer unless someone at the top decides to speak up. And right now, all eyes are on Trump. If you're fascinated by this, hit that like button right now. And if you want to stay updated on every twist in this story, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because if this really happens, you're not going to want to miss it. Whether you believe in extraterrestrial life or not, one thing is undeniable: something is happening. Objects are being seen. Reports are being filed. Officials are speaking out. And the silence from the top is starting to feel louder than ever. Maybe Trump will be the one to break it. Maybe it'll be someone else. Or maybe we'll be waiting for decades more, stuck in the same cycle of rumors, sightings, and official denials. But here's the thing. The truth has a way of coming out eventually. It always does. It might take years. It might take a courageous leader willing to risk everything. But if there's one thing history has taught us, it's that secrets don't stay buried forever. So keep watching the skies. Keep asking questions. And most importantly, keep thinking for yourself. Because in a world full of competing narratives, that's the only way to get closer to the truth. If this video changed the way you think about what's out there, smash that like button. And if you're ready to join the club of people who demand the truth, hit subscribe right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you think Trump will actually make the announcement? Or is this just another chapter in the never-ending saga of UFO speculation? Let me know what you think. And if you want to dive even deeper into this mystery, check out the next video on the screen. You won't regret it.